Welcome to AHRC TV's weekly Roundup. In this week's program, Sister dos Santos of the HAK Association speaks to us about disappearances in East Timor. In Sri Lanka, Mayuri Yanoka, a woman fighting for her disappeared husband, has been abducted and threatened. In Burma, the murder of a journalist by the military has been uncovered. In Nepal, a couple is conducting a hunger strike seeking justice for their murdered daughter. Welcome to AHRC TV's weekly Roundup. I'm Jessica Fernando. Following up on last week's presentations on disappearances, Sister dos Santos, a human rights coordinator at the HAK Association, provides statistics regarding disappearances in East Timor.
So during Indonesian military occupation, the Indonesian military killed the Timorese civilian people around 18,600 up to 250,000. The people were killed and disappeared. Based on CAVR, the Commission Truth and Reconciliation that established in Timor-Leste since 2001, and the final report mentioned that around 4,500 children that Indonesian military brought to Indonesian territory, and now they are still separate with their family. About 853 people still disappear, and until now, no any information regarding their situation. After independence, for around 15 years, the families of victims still waiting for their children, still searching for their husband that disappeared forcibly by Indonesian military during the occupation. In other hand, based on the policy between Timor-Leste government and Indonesian government, they established the CTF, Commission Truth and Friendship, 2005, and they delivered the final recommendation to the both government that the priority is to establish the missing person commission. But until now, until today, no any progress regarding the establishment of the commission of missing person. This is something strange, because even the recommendation is already took since 2008, but until now, for both government, they haven't no political will how to prioritize to establishing the missing person commission. And this is again, both government prefer to keep the relationship and forget whatever happened in the past. They prefer looking for future.
Turning to Sri Lanka, AHRC TV has learned of a frightening development in a recent disappearance case. Mayuri Yanoka, the wife of the disappeared Madhushka Harris de Silva, was herself briefly abducted by men identifying themselves as police officers. The men threatened her over her search for answers regarding her missing husband. Madhushka Harris de Silva disappeared in September 2013. His wife has complained to the courts, and an inquiry has begun just this week. Additionally, Mayuri has been holding a monthly protest in front of the Anuradhapura police station, demanding information regarding her husband. She has publicly stated her belief that Senior Police Superintendent Mahesh Senaratne, among other members of law enforcement, is responsible for her husband's disappearance. On the 1st of November, as Mayuri Inoka was on her way to purchase milk for her twins, she was held at gunpoint, tied up, blindfolded, and driven away. After some time, she was thrown into a van where her abductors threatened her with a firearm, demanded that she stop her campaigning and protesting regarding her husband's case, and said that if she did not, she would be taken to where her husband is, which Mayuri understood to be a death threat. After about an hour and a half, Mayuri says she was thrown onto the side of the road with her hands still tied. She received no assistance when she called for help, but eventually a few police officers in civilian clothes arrived. Instead of assisting Mayuri, they verbally abused her and treated her as though she were a prostitute. The incident follows a previous one, where two men came to her home and threatened her life and the lives of her children. She took the threat seriously, but still chose to speak at the commemoration event for the disappeared, held on the 27th of October, mentioned in last week's program. The timing of Mayuri's abduction is significant for another reason. The official inquiry related to her husband's disappearance was scheduled to begin on the 4th of November. The Asian Human Rights Commission believes that Mayuri Inoka's life is in grave danger, given the escalating nature of threats against her and the history of disappearance and extrajudicial killings in Sri Lanka. The Asian Human Rights Commission has issued an urgent appeal and has reached out to other human rights NGOs and the United Nations. Next, AHRC TV turns to Burma, where the military has killed a journalist, but their attempt at a cover-up is being exposed. Pargi, whose legal name is Aung Jo Naing, was a journalist and human rights advocate who was covering the conflict between the Burmese army and the Kayan rebels in Chiang Mai when he went missing in September this year. Details subsequently obtained paint an incriminating picture. According to reports, Pagi was arrested near a checkpoint in the area where he was working by the military and the Minister of Border Affairs. He was then transferred to a military base for investigation. On the 4th of October, he was shot and killed, and his body was hastily buried in Sui Wa Chang village, less than a kilometer away from the base. None of this was immediately reported or investigated, nor was the victim's family informed. On the 19th of October, Pargi's wife, Thandar, accompanied by friends, inquired as to her husband's whereabouts. Captain Sun Ming Aung revealed the arrest but claimed to have no knowledge of where Pargi was at the time. Thandar tried numerous other sources, but finally learned the truth in a statement released on the 23rd of October by the military. The statement claimed that Pargi was shot and killed while attempting to take a weapon from one of his guards during an escape attempt on the 4th of October. The military has alleged that the victim was a communications captain of a local militant group. However, the victim's wife, colleagues, and the group itself dispute this claim. Thandar subsequently attempted to file a case with the police. The police at first refused, but later that same day called her back to the station and opened the case. On the 5th of November, the victim's body was exhumed and the investigation is ongoing. The complete lack of respect for both law and even its own administrative procedures on the part of the military is a new level of dysfunction for Burma. Likewise, the police's response to Thandar's attempt to open a case is unusual. AHRC TV will monitor this story as it continues to develop. In this week's final segment, we examine a hunger strike in Nepal. Two parents are demanding an investigation into the alleged rape and murder of their daughter, while law enforcement ignores their pleas for justice. On the 5th of February 2013, Sushila Tamang, a 21-year-old student and live-in domestic helper, was found dead in the bedroom of her employer. She was partially hanging by her neck above the bed of Mr. Raghubarman Shrestha, a former chief district officer. The girl's father and mother, Panchabir Lama and Saili Maya Lama, were called to the scene. They said that this did not appear to be a natural death to them. The police, however, had already written their report and resorted to trickery in getting the victim's father to sign the document. Over the following month, the victim's parents learned that their daughter was 2.5 months pregnant. As more evidence came to light, the parents began to suspect that the employer's son-in-law, Bijaman Shrestha, was not only responsible for the pregnancy, but that he had been repeatedly raping their daughter throughout the pregnancy. On the 17th of February, the couple's attempt to lodge a first information report against Bijaman Shestra and his wife Smriti Shestra was initially rebuffed, but with the assistance of several organizations, the complaint was eventually registered. However, the police did not conduct an investigation, and the suspects were released less than a month later. In the face of inaction by law enforcement, the Lama family began their hunger strike on the 14th of June 2014. The couple protests from 8:30 to 6 p.m. near the central administrative building of the government of Nepal in Kathmandu. The government has not responded to their demands.
यो छोरीको न्याय पाउनको लागि
अब कसरी नपाउला भन्ने चाहिँ कसरी त अब हामी पनि एउटा राज्यको नागरिक हो हैन त्यत्रो छोरी मारेपछि कुनै अनपढ होइन नपढेको होइन त्यत्रो ब्याचलर सेकेन्ड इयर पढिसकेको छोरी बाउआमा पाल्ने भाइहरू पाल्ने बिहे नै नगर्ने भन्ने छोरी त्यत्रो छोरी मारेर चाहिँ अब मारेकै हो भनेर अब त्यतिखेर त भनेर उनीहरूले गुपचुप पारेर राख्यो प्रहरी प्रशासनले उनीहरूले सबै मिलायो के किन्यो सोसपोस नोटले उ गरे भुबुसिडियो र गोबरमान श्रेष्ठ भुबुसिडियोको छोरी जुवाई गाएर राखे मेरो छोरी चाहिँ त्यस कारणले गर्दाखेरि उनीहरूले सोसपोस नोटले गरे कि त्यस कारणले गर्दा त्यो बेला चाहिँ त्यतिखेर चाहिँ गुपचुप पारेर राखेको थियो सुशीला साँच्चै उही झुन्डेर मर्या कि मार्या कि केही पनि थाहा दिएन होला
कुनै हालतमा मेरो छोरीले आत्महत्या हाल्दैन त्यो उनीहरूले चाहिँ फकाइ त्यो के भनेदेखि साउले शोषण गरेर जब चाहिँ गर्भवती हुने भएपछि त्यो साउनीले स्मृतिले चाहिँ एकदम माया गरेर है काम पनि आजकल काम पनि धेरै अराउँदैन होइन अनि बजारमा तरकारी किन्नु पनि पठाउँदा त्यतिखेर अनि पठाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ अनि 50-60 रुपियाँ पैसा फिर्ता आएपछि ल दिच्छु राख्नुहोस् भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ त आफै राख भनेर यस्तो कति माया गर्नुहुन्छ आमा आजकल भनेर आमा चाहिँले फोन गरेर भनिरहेको थियो 6 दिनपछि चाहिँ पोस्टमार्टम गऱ्यो हेर्नुहोस् पोस्टमार्टम गऱ्यो भन्यो हामी चाहिँ टिचिङ बाहिर थियो बाहिर बसिराख्दाखेरि अनि मामा र चाहिँ बाउ चयो भनेर एउटा मुख छोपेको उसले बोलाउन आयो अनि बोलाउन आउँदाखेरि के भन्यो भने ल आमा र बाउ आज मामा र बाउ चयो भनेर बोलाउँदाखेरि हामी गयो भित्र रहेछ अनि एकजना डाक्टर उभिरहेको छ बुढो खालको मोटे उभिरहेको छ अनि त्यो उभिरहेको ठाउँमा चाहिँ तपाईँ बुवा हो भने हो भने अनि तपाईँ मामा हो भने हो भने अनि भनेपछि तपाईँको छोरीको पेटमा बच्चा रहेछ तपाईँहरूको पनि इज्जतको सवाल हुन्छ त्यो बच्चा लुगाइदियो भनेर डाक्टरले त्यसो भन्यो अनि त्यसो भन्दाखेरि मैले के भन्यो भने आज बच्चा हुनु नपर्ने भनेर भन्यो अनि भाइले पनि अनि बच्चा त हुनु नपर्ने भनेर छ बच्चा के गरौँ भनेर भन्यो अनि त्यहाँ त्यसो भन्दाखेरि अनि किन लुगाउने जस्तो छ त्यस्तै देखाउने बच्चा छ भयो भनेर हामीले त्यसो भन्यो अनि त्यसो भन्दाखेरि अनि डाक्टरले अनि मैले भने सर अनि मेरो छोरी खास गरी के भयो भनेर ह्याङ्गिङ भन्यो डाक्टरले हेर्नुहोस् है अनि ह्याङ्गिङ भन्यो त मैले बुझ्दिनँ अनि नबुझेपछि अनि मैले भाइले भन्यो सालोलाई है अनि ह्याङ्गिङ भनेर के त भाइ भनेर अनि यसरी आफै झुन्डेर मऱ्यो भने भेनाज्यू भनेर भन्यो अनि मैले भने डाक्टर साहब मेरो छोरी यसरी एउटा खुट्टा खाटमा खुम्जेर बसेको छ एउटा खुट्टा चाहिँ भुइँमा यसरी लदारेर पैदालै देख्ने गरी यसरी लदारेर टुक्रुका बसेको छ त्यसरी मान्छे मर्छ डाक्टर साहब भने त मर्छ मेचको खुट्टा पनि झुन्डेर मर्छ खाटको खुट्टा पनि झुन्डेर मान्छे मर्छ भनेर डाक्टरले त्यो भन्यो हेर्नुहोस् त्यसो भन्दै अनि एक टिप प्रशासन फेरि घेर आयो त्यहाँ हामीले त्यस्तो छलफल हुँदा डाक्टरको पसिना खाला नाला भइरहेछ डाक्टरको हेर्नुहोस् त्यस्तो बेला पनि माघ बेला पनि हेर्नुहोस् है अनि त्यसरी मेचको खुट्टा पनि मान्छे झुन्डेर मर्छ खाटको खुट्टा पनि मान्छे झुन्डेर मर्छ भने कुन ठाउँमा चाहिँ त्यसरी झुन्डेर मरेको देखाएको छ हजुरहरूले त्यही मात्रै मैले उ गरेको हेर्नुहोस् प्रहरीले त पहिला हामीले त के भन्छ जे त्यो हाम्रो प्रतिकूल हाम्रो विपक्ष कागज बनाएको छ जे बोल्छ कागज बोल्छ तिमीहरूले बोलेर हुन्छ भनेर हामी देखेपछि हप्काउने धप्काउने हामीलाई होइन अनि त्यो उनीहरूले त्यसरी छोड्यो होइन 24 दिनपछि उनीहरूले छोड्यो भनौँ न अनि त्यसो भए बानेश्वर जान्छौँ हामी आज कोटेश्वर जान्छौँ हामी त्यसो भयो भने कोटेश्वर गयो भने एक छोड्दैन भने त्यही बाटो दबाब दिएको हामीलाई त्यो चौकीबाट
अब त्यो अपराधीहरूलाई जबसम्म अपराधीहरूलाई कारबाहीको दायरामा ल्याउँदैन कारबाही गर्दैन त्यतिखेरसम्म हामी निरन्तर आन्दोलन जारी नै राख्छौँ
Just like the Adhikari couple before them, these parents demand justice. Until their demands are met, this couple's hunger strike will continue. That is all for this weekly roundup. For more on these and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.